Okay, hi, Assalamualaikum. I will start our case study presentation with background of study. Okay, for your information, palm oil industry has been in a long-standing issue regarding to workers' health and safety. So this study was created to identify and summarize occupational hazard among oil palm mill workers in Malaysia. And the result shows oil palm mill workers were found to be at risk of health issues, physical injuries and infection exposure. Our focus is to monitor the workers' health and safety, next to improve the safety and health issues, and lastly to ensure people of industries can implement a healthier environment. The three objectives of our study, which is first is to study the effect of hazard factors that can lead to the health issues of workers and the environment. Next, we want to analyze the impact of palm oil wasters that affect the environment. And lastly, we want to propose the corrective action to reduce the risk or to eliminate the hazard. Next is significance of study. Individual health is important, and if precautions were not taken, their health is at risk. The significance of our study is to ensure that workers' health and safety are guaranteed. And also, we want to spread awareness to industries and to workers.
Is palm oil mill. Palm oil is one of the most biggest industry in Malaysia's development that is based on agriculture industry. Malaysia's palm oil industry has made a name for itself as a leader in the production of a multi-purpose product, and palm oil industry is one of the industry that contributing to the economic growth of this country. However, regarding on how big the industry is, there are still several cases reported from DOSH involving occupational accidents in the industry, and SOCSO had reported more than 56,000 industrial accident cases in 2007, and until September 2011 there are a total of 34 million ringgit paid as a compensation for more than 11,000 accident cases in palm oil industry. Therefore, this study is important to improve the quality of operation to avoid the unsafe work and unsafe condition at the work. Next, what is hazard? According to Lipton and Link, hazards are also factors that exist from the work. And according to DOSH, hazard means a source or a situation with a potential for harm in terms of human injury or ill health, damage to property, damage to the environment, or a combination of these. On the other hand, DOSH also identified hazard identification as the identification of undesired events that lead to the materialization of the hazard and the mechanism by which those undesired events could occur. From our study, these are the physical hazards identified from the activity loading ramp at the palm oil, and this is the chemical hazard identified from the workshop area in the palm oil mill, and these are the biological hazards identified from the kernel plant in the palm oil mill. Next is the psychosocial hazard identified from the activity sterilization. And lastly, the ergonomic hazards identified from the activity loading ramp. From the hazard identification that we did, health effect from certain hazard classification. For the first one is the ergonomic hazard, which contributing to musculoskeletal disorder, and there are 4 categories that lie under musculoskeletal disorder, which is joint conditions, bones conditions, muscles and tendons conditions, and other health conditions. Next is health effect from biological hazards, which has caused infectious disease, which have been found to be common among workers in palm oil plantation. For example, there are a record that a third of workers had positive blood slides for malaria in Papua Guinea. The causing factor to this infectious disease is due to long-term exposure to biological hazards outdoor. And lastly is the health effect from chemical hazards, is pesticide and herbicides that may be caused by short-term or long-term exposure to the chemical used in the palm oil plantation. Pesticide and herbicides might enter workers' body through skin or eyes, or inhalation or ingestion of the chemical. So, what can we do to mitigate and decrease the risk and hazard to workers in palm oil plantation is by implementing control measures according to the hierarchy of control. So for the first one is to do the elimination, and then to do the substitution control, and next is the engineering control and administrative control, and lastly is the usage of PPE. The hierarchy of controls is a framework used in occupational health and safety to reduce or eliminate risks associated with workplace hazards. This framework organizes hazard control methods in a prioritized structure from the most effective to the least effective, ensuring a systematic approach to mitigation.
HIRAD stands for Hazard Identification, Risk Assessment and Risk Control. It is a systematic approach to manage occupational safety and health in workplace. Hazard identification is to determine all hazards in the crucial operation of work where they can give significant risk to the health and safety of workers. Risk assessment is the likelihood and severity of the accident or event. They are determined to identify the magnitude and priority of the identified hazards. Risk control is to ensure that hazards can be controlled at their source, so that workers are not exposed to hazards and no accidents occur. HIRAD analysis of palm oil mill. Palm oil mill is a crucial sector for the Malaysian economy. However, the issue of safety and health of workers in palm oil mills are being less highlighted compared to other industries. Safety aspects in the mills are sometimes lacking due to management policy that focuses more on profit rather than workers' safety and health. Most common issues in the industries are improper workplace design, ill-structured jobs, and inappropriate management. Based from our findings in HIRAD model, we identified workplace hazards across the various palm oil mill operations, including loading ramps, sterilization areas, oil rooms, and kernel plants. Highlight risks such as slips, respiratory issue, burns, falls, and noise exposure with a recommended controls like improved housekeeping, PPE, engineering solutions, and administrative measures. Risk mitigation is a strategy used to reduce, manage, or eliminate risks or threats. Once potential risks are identified, the project team conducts a risk assessment to evaluate their significance. There are 4 strategies that we found are appropriate for this industry. Firstly, integration of controls. By combining multi-levels of control for each hazard, we will be able to ensure redundancy and maximum safety. For example, by pairing engineering controls with administrative measures and PPE. Secondly, safety culture development. By fostering a workplace culture where safety is prioritized, like encourage reporting of unsafe conditions without fear of reprisal. Thirdly, continuous monitoring and improvement. Conduct regular reviews of risk controls and update measures on new technologies or change in work environment. And lastly, emergency preparedness. Conduct regular drills to prepare for emergencies. Any sorts of emergencies such as explosions, fires, or confined space.
After all the discussion that we have discussed, the conclusion for our study is a proactive and integrated approach is essential for safeguarding worker health, promoting sustainability, and ensuring long-term industry viable. So, these are some recommendations that we can give to palm oil mill people. It includes advanced safety measures, safety culture, and lastly, continuous monitoring. Lastly, by implementing these recommendations, the palm oil mill industry can align productivity with workers' well-being and environmental conservation. So, lastly, we will end our presentation with a video explaining about process in palm oil mill.
How is palm oil produced? At the mill, the fresh fruit bunches are processed to separate them into functional components. Bunches arrive at the mill are checked for quality and selected in different grades. Suppliers of dirty or overripe bunches are paid less, and bad quality bunches are rejected. The major factors that will determine the quantity of oil is the ripeness of the fresh fruit bunch. Processing of a fresh fruit bunch will give 32% effluent, 23% empty bunches, and 45% of a mixture of kernels, fibers, and oil. Bunches are treated with steam to kill bacteria and stop enzyme activity. This way, degradation is stopped. At the same time, fruits are weakened, which helps to release the oil. After the steam treatment, the fruit mass, which contains water, oil, fibers, and palm kernels, is treated to separate all components. The fruit is pressed under high pressure, just like olives, to squeeze out the oil and water. Pressing results in an oil-water mixture and a press cake. As oil and water do not mix after some time, the palm oil will form an oil layer on top of the water. The oil is separated by phase separation. What results is a crude palm oil which needs further processing at a palm oil refinery. The so-called crude oil is stored in big tanks and from there transported to refineries around the world. Empty fruit bunches are used as fuel to make compost. The empty fruit bunches are dried in case they are used to generate heat for the steam boiler. Most fruit bunches are composted. Microorganisms break down the biomass and produce a nutrient-rich compost which is used in the plantation. It increases soil fertility by giving nutrients and also helps to retain water. The kernels are transported to a palm kernel mill to extract the palm kernel oil. Such a mill is specially built to be able to crush the hard kernels.